My mannerisms are not feminine, they're mine. Hey folks, it's Finn. Today I want to talk about something that I see come up so often in my comments, and they are comments along the lines of, you can so tell that he used to be a woman, look at his mannerisms. Or, you can always tell trans people because you can tell by the way they talk in more feminine ways, they talk and think like females, and they act like females, they'll never be men. There are so many things wrong with those statements that in some way, because of these flamboyant ways of being, of talking, of acting, that somehow, for that reason, my transition hasn't been successful, or that my female is still showing. Really? Doesn't work like that at all. For most of us anyway, certainly for me, I see it that I've always been male. It's just that my outside grew differently to my inside. And all I've done in transition is make my body match my already existing gender identity as a male person. So it's impossible for any old female to be showing because it wasn't there in the first place. So today I want to talk about my female mannerisms and my female voice and my female way of thinking. This idea that mannerisms are gendered, or thoughts are gendered, or speech are gendered is absolutely ridiculous. I will agree that there are certain traits that you see belonging to men and certain traits that you see belonging to women, but they are not inherently male or female. Nothing is inherently gendered. We are just told in society how we should be, act, think and feel depending on our gender. And this is actually seeming to get worse and worse as time goes on. How men, women, anybody acts is often externally pushed onto people, that we feel we have to act in certain ways because of our gender. But didn't we transition to escape other people's views of who we should be? Let's get one thing straight about my female mannerisms. Those who knew me pre-transition will know that I was one uber butch lesbian. I know it's really hard to believe. I spent the first half of my life trying to be overly masculine. So, yeah, something along those lines. I did not know that this was what I was doing until benefit of hindsight when I transitioned and looked back. That my overly trying to be masculine was because I was a man, and I didn't know that at the time. But I can see now that what I was doing was squashing my own personality down because I hated it when people treated me like a woman. And so I would always choose jobs that were very masculine. I used to be a refuse collector. Yes, I was one of those bin men that you saw running around. I always talked in very monotonous ways. I sat with my legs far apart. I did all the masculine type of behaviours even before I knew I was transgender. And then once I realised I was trans, this got worse for a little bit, because then I thought, oh, if I'm going to be gendered correctly, I've got to now make sure that my mannerisms are male so that people can read me correctly. And so I looked at ways to change my speech pattern, change my movements, just to make myself very stereotypically male. One of these things included not smiling, because I read somewhere that men tend to have more stoic faces. Can't be stoic. But as my transition progressed, you will see, watching my vlogs over time, that as time has progressed, I have got much more flamboyant in the way I express myself, the way I move, the things I wear. And a lot of people thought I was gay because of it. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. At the time, I was not identifying as gay. And there was a time where I moved to Devon and was single. And I once again thought about changing my mannerisms and changing the way I did things, because people were constantly reading me as gay and I didn't think I was. Again, we'll get to that in a minute. So it wasn't even that I was changing my mannerisms because I was gay. I was actually adamant at the time that I wasn't gay, and yet my personality and the way I was evolving was to be a very flamboyant person. I've gone into uber expression with my arms. My speech pattern was all over the place, a very, very typically camp kind of personality. And this was happening without my input. It was just who I was becoming. I couldn't contain the camp. Luckily, lots of self-reflection on all of this made me realise that this is just me. It seems that this is just my natural personality. That how I was pre-transition, that very stoic kind of bloke, was not really me. I had been squashing my real personality down in a desperate attempt to be read as male. But once read as male consistently, I was free to be as flamboyant as possible. And actually, I loved that. And if you watch my videos back then, I went through this massive stage of then wearing flamingos and pink and wearing earrings again for the first time and not caring what people think. And then I did come out as gay. But in all honesty, I don't think this personality of mine has got anything to do with me being gay. I think some people are just very flamboyant. And this is the thing, you know? We are all individuals. We are all different in the way we speak, the way we move, and that's okay. Your mannerisms are yours. They are not male, they are not female, they are not anything else, they are yours. And I am loving the fact that I've come to a point in my transition where I am 100% confident in my male identity. I know I'm a man. And yet I'm quite happy to wear flamingos, to wear pink, to wave my arms and to be incredibly camp. That doesn't make me any less male. It just makes me fabulous. I am completely different now than I was pre-transition in the way I speak, in the way I move, and in the way I think, and the way I express myself. So, people who think that I'm this way because my female is still showing are talking out of their... Do you know why I'm this way? Because this is who I am. It's got nothing to do with being male, female, or anything else. This is just me. And for the first time in my life, I am free to be me. And this me just happens to be arm-waving, flamboyant fabulousness. And as for this idea of I think like a female, well, a lot of that is to do with the fact of this really damaging stereotype that women talk about their feelings, men hide them. This is not inherently a thing about gender. This is just what society has done to us. It is dangerous to hide your feelings and to not express them. Emotions are like going to the toilet. They need to be expressed in order for us to be healthy. Whether you're man, woman or anything else, emotions are a natural part of being human and they need to be felt and expressed. So this idea that I'm still thinking in a female way because I express myself is utter rubbish and incredibly damaging. Men, I'm one, can express their emotions just like anyone else. And do you know what? It makes you a bigger man if you can actually have the confidence to say, do you know what? I get depressed, I get anxious, this upsets me, that upsets me, I feel this. There is nothing non-masculine about expressing feelings. It's a human thing and it's an amazing thing to be able to have personal insight and self-knowledge, to know yourself, to know your needs, to ask for your needs to be met, to talk about these things. There is nothing wrong with that. So don't go shaming people for expressing their emotions and making them feel they have to do otherwise in order to be accepted for the person they are. So the point of this video today, and there is a point, is just be you. Don't worry what anyone else says. I get it. In early days, I made a vlog about this recently. We want to be seen as the gender we are, and we go out of our way, often denying who we actually really are, just to be seen as who we are. It's that really strange irony that in early days, we have to be somebody we're not in order to be seen as the person we are. And I get that. But then let yourself, as transition goes on, just be you. And if that you happens to be an arm-waving, flamboyant, hugely expressive, highly emotionally in touch person, then that's you. And there's nothing wrong with being that. I would argue that that's fabulous. It doesn't matter how you identify, you can be, act, speak, wear, whatever you like, because whatever people think of you is none of your business. Let them get on with whatever they get on with, because you should always be you. And the whole point of transitioning is to be who we really are. There is no point going through transition being comfortable in who you really are, but yet have other people's views of how you should act stop you from being 100% you. We've come too far to do that. So people, just be you and let them get on with whatever they're getting on with. That was almost butch, wasn't it? I transitioned to be me. I am a man. How I express myself has nothing to do with my gender identity. Gender identity and gender expression are two separate and interrelating things. You can be a man and yet choose to express your identity in very flamboyant, pink wearing ways, or you can be a man and you can choose to express your identity in very butch, dark clothes, muscular kind of way. There are many ways to be a man, woman or anything else. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you find your way of being you, and that doesn't take away from whatever gender you are. And just because I like to express my emotions, to be flamboyant, that I like cute and cuddly things, being flamboyant, pink things, flamingos and unicorns, doesn't make me any less of a man, and it certainly doesn't mean that my old female self is still showing, because I was never female in the first place. So that's my 10 pence worth today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If any of this made sense to you, if you relate, please do let me know in the comment section below. Always really lovely to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already subscribed and you like what you see here, I'd love it if you would join our fabulous Finn fam. And you can do that by subscribing to the channel and ticking the little notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload anything new, and you won't miss any of the regular Finn installments. Take care of yourselves, folks. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you next week.